Good evening, everyone. As we all know that education or anything in part of learning, it's not can be achieved by one individual. It is a collaborative, aspect what we need to look into. Because when it comes to data or when it comes to technology, when we are adapting, it's very important that parents and educators need to collaborate because when we say saying that claps cannot be done by one single hand, right? So to make the sound, definitely it's a collaboration between two hands. In the same way, if educators work in their own path and in a single way, that cannot help in achieving the goals what we are trying to adapt in our learning methodology. See, sometimes we see parents put the entire responsibility only on the teachers. Like, when we see them in the PTMs or when we have these conversations, they feel that the entire responsibility is only the educator's responsibility because we are paying the fee and we don't have time and we are busy with our own works. And this is what we come across in general. But when it comes to the goal or the aims what we look at for a prospects of a child, definitely it has to be a collaborative between the parents and educators. For that, as this technology is also helping us, we know that these days human life has become so busy, and we cannot blame parents also in this point because uh, so many famous personalities are saying that the work has to be like 70 hours a week, 90 hours a week. We are motivating our people to work further more and more working hours. In this context, we cannot blame parents also, but it is very important for a parent understand where my child stands and what are the things that we need to take care, and that can be done only when you collaborate with the educator. It's not just taking a blame game that it's your responsibility or parents are not taking care of this. It's not just a blame game. It's until and unless if we have that collaboration between the educators and parents, we cannot achieve the goals what we are looking at. Because technology has its advantages and disadvantages. When we are taking technology into practice, there are certain disadvantages also. For example, if we are adapting these kind of AI driven tools, there are disadvantages. Like there might be a digital divide. There can be requirement of trainings to the educators, which is very important because they have to cope up with the advanced learnings what is happening around, because children are more advanced in technology compared to the current educators. So all these are like which is very important, and that is possible only when we have a collaborative things between the entire stakeholders, right from the school management, educators, parents. Everyone play their their part of role, and it's very important to have a collaboration. Otherwise, it's a meaningless journey. Going in a single direction. So that's what I feel. It's a very important role in their individual perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. We agree collaboration lies at the heart of ensuring our students receive learning that's impactful and meaningful. Also, applying technology mindfully, responsibly brings in efficiency as well as ensures that ethics are being followed in the classrooms to ensure that all stakeholders can truly derive the benefits out of it. So, thank you for sharing that, which also brings me to the end of our panel discussion. Now, if I may just take 2 to 3 minutes to ask each and every panelist member to give one liner takeaway from the entire discussion, and then we'll conclude it. Can we start from you, ma'am? Yeah, yeah, you start. So it was a very good and fruitful discussion. It was a mixture of parents takeaway, like how the parents are feeling and how the children are there in today's world, how to train our teachers. And I guess Sir said about how evolving things are there. So I guess the my takeaway point would be from Sir that it's good that we have this kind of discussion where we can take a lot of points related to education, and education is always evolving. We have to get change with the things. Thank you. Yes, adaptability is, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we were talking about technology first. Introduction of technology is a compulsion for today. We just have seen, just recently, I've seen yesterday, there's news of Dr. Naishwar Reddy, who has come up with a pill which scans everything. And this is how we have to, every student for today has to know the technology. That is where we start with the smart boards, the clickers, or robotics, or whatever it is. So everything has to be introduced to the child. And the next thing is, unless they know the concept well, they'll not be able to question first. So that is what I thought is Q and I is question and then innovation. So the same how that is what is required for today. And for this everything to happen, so we definitely have, as from the school side, we are the first pillar now, to make them more innovative, to understand many things and all. And then coming to the assessment part, which wherein we get involved in assessing them, and there comes the role of parents who has to cooperate with us first. So that is much required. So this is where the students really feel encouraged if their parents are also with them. So this is what we from our side, from the school sides, we want the parents always on our side.
Yeah, right. I mean, here's a thought. We are preparing students for the universe, not just the university. And in the world of Wi-Fi, education cannot be buffering. So, yeah. So your thoughts.
Yeah, a quick, food for thought. Those who use iPhones and those who don't, if you were to book paneer tikka from a nearby eatery called Zaika, it will show you two different rates. iPhone price, I mean, order price is higher than the non-iPhone users. Technology is adapting and adopting. My key takeaway is let's start adapting before technology adopts us.
As Sir told us, then the collaboration between the parents and the teachers, that is really very, very important. Even as I experienced in my school, whenever there is a PTM, that parents are coming and asking us always, we won't have any time to spend with our children. You have to take everything. We are paying fee and all. So you take 100% care. That I'm taking home. Then really, it's very true. The collaboration with the parents and the teachers, and the this is like a golden triangle. The student. These three collaboration only it can be happen the success of the students. Then even if they have to spend some time with their children, then only they can get to know where our child stands. That is very, very important for each and every parent. What I suggest the parents every time whenever they come to me, you please try to spend some time with your child. The human relationships also is very, very important. Whenever we go some or other functions, then instead of tracking each other, they used to watch the cell phones, each and every one of them. Same like that, the children also they are doing the same thing as by uh, following the parents' footprints. This we have to tell the children through technology, even the relationship, human relationship, the behavior, then all these things also are very, very important. Thank you. What I take home is that the collaboration between the parents and the teachers are very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now the times are changing. Now millennials, Gen Zs, I don't know, lots of terminology is coming on, and this is the need of the hour. Technology is adapting, adopting, whatnot. But we have to see as educators, we have to guide the right path to the children. Giving the technology itself is not just what we need to do, but we have to see that the children are moving in the right path, because technology, as I said, there are advantages and disadvantages. If it is used in the right way, it gives immense development of growth. But again, if it is used for wrong purposes, yes, there is a huge what do you say, a loss, or bad to the society. So as educators, as parents, as stakeholders, it's our responsibility to monitor them and guide the children in the right path. So that's what I feel. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity for us. Thanks once again. Yeah.
So, thank you to all the panelists. And here's my takeaway in one line: we can't be bringing 21st century learners into a 20th century classroom, and technology in the right hands with right responsibility can truly make a huge difference and transform our classrooms of today. So thank you so much to all our panelists. And while I'm thanking you all, I also want to thank our audience. Thank you for being so patient, listening to us. And yes, just a minute. So, final thoughts: with strong partnerships, data driven technology, as well as focusing on every student, we can truly bring personalized learning into our classrooms and transform the teaching learning process experience for students as well as for our educators. With that, once again, I'm truly grateful to each of our panelists for taking out the time and sharing your thoughts and perspectives. But before we completely conclude, here's a small token of our appreciation and gratitude for being a part of this panel and sharing your insights. May I please invite Mr. Anurag Chandra, Head of Product and Business, to kindly come up on the stage and present the panelists with our token of gratitude. Thank you, Anurag. Well, good evening. And now we are excited to move into a segment that speaks directly to the heart of innovation and progress in education. At Q&I, we believe in the power of personalization and the transformative impact of adaptive learning. Q&I is a bridge that connects students to their fullest potential, that creates an environment where every student can thrive. In a world where technology is reshaping every aspect of our lives, education cannot afford to stand still. The next presentation is an invitation to imagine how we as educators can harness these advancements to make learning more engaging, more effective, and more meaningful for our students. I invite you all to not just listen, but to envision how this approach can transform classrooms, ignite curiosity, and truly empower students to take control of their learning journey. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Anurag Chandra, who's the head of product and business operations at Q&I. Mr. Chandra is an alumnus of IIT Kanpur with around 20 years of experience in the education space. He has authored several academic books for JEE and a bestseller fiction titled The Ramayana Secret in 2018. He comes with comprehensive experience in several top edtech companies in different roles in content, product, and business. Anurag, welcome to the stage. Can I please?
Thank you.
Anurag, I'm going to request you to kindly take our school leaders this evening to the Q&I vision and story. Where do we come from? What is it that we're trying to build? And where are we trying to go? The stage is yours.
Thank you, Shreya. Good evening, school leaders, educators. Thank you for taking out your time, precious time today to be at the Q&A today, even today. And there were some key takeaways from the discussion that we just had, and it's very, very enlightening to know that as school leaders, you share the common thought that technology in education is something that's going to stay, and how we are going to implement is something that we have to collaborate together on. In the next 20 minutes that I'm going to spend here on the stage, I'm going to take you through the journey of Q&I, where we come from, and what are the different kinds of solutions that we are developing as a company, and how we are trying to work out a collaboration with the schools like you and take the solutions to the students at the end of the journey. A brief on where we come from. So Q&I basically is part of Thomson Digital, and Thomson Digital has been a part of the larger India Today group of companies. So we have, as Thomson Digital, we have been into the space of providing content and technology solutions to scientific, technical, educational, and medical publishers across the globe for the last 50 years. So the likes of Elsevier, Pearson, McGraw-Hill, we have been serving them for the last 50 years. And during the course of all these 50 years, we have developed our expertise in structuring content and building our own in-house specialty ways of tagging content in such a way that we are able to maximize what we get from a content that's lying in a database in a purely dead format. So that's been something that has come through us with a lot of experience. Around 4-5 years back, we started to work on something that could actually be utilized or used in the Indian education market space, because coming from a background of providing content and technology, and with education space having a boom time in India, we felt that was a gradual and that was an obvious transition that we wanted to make. And that's why we started to do research on what we can actually get into as a solution for the school space and for the education space. And we started with the test prep market segment. So we started catering to students of grades in 11th and 12th who were essentially preparing for these competitive entrance examinations, right? And now we have moved also to foundational grades, which include grades 8, 9, and 10, where we are focusing on curricular subjects like maths, science, and social science. And we are trying to bridge the gaps, understand the strengths, weaknesses of the child from the perspective of their foundational learning skills, and trying to bridge those gaps with the help of the teachers and the schools. So these are the kinds of programs that we started to work on with Q&I. But before we actually develop the whole product and the whole list of solutions that we have, during the course of research and the surveys that we conducted for a good 1.5 years, we figured out that one of the most important challenges, one of the biggest challenges that were faced by students, the major stakeholders in the whole learning process, the students, as well as the parents and the schools was for the preparation of these competitive examinations, which were very, very competitive. A parallel learning structure to the existing system of schools was being developed. Hyderabad is a market which is quite mature, and we have had a lot of students coming out from these competitive entrance examinations. So we have a structure here already in place, but across the country, schools started to face this problem of students moving out from the regular schooling and going into and enrolling themselves into dummy schools where they do not have to go to schools. They focus only on competitive exam preparations. And there were lots of movement of students post class 10th. As much as 20% of the students who were leaving regular schooling, 20% of them were actually doing so because they were preparing for these competitive examinations. So that was one major challenge, and this challenge resulted in a lot of other after effects. So while school was focusing on the holistic development of the child, the board success of the child, and the overall development, and it was aligned with the new age learning, and it was also providing the safe and sanitized environment to the children who are part of the school for the last 10, 12 years. These after school programs, some online, some offline, they were catering majorly to competitive examination success. So one system focusing on the overall development boards, the other completely focused on a particular exam in mind, focusing with standardized assessments, having a set of star teachers to showcase, and having average, below average teachers for the rest of the class. So these were the challenges that were coming in the system that was being developed, and this was one major challenge that needed to be solved. With the parallel learning structure, with the parallel learning programs that came up along with the schools, some of the major challenges that we were getting from the perspective of students, school, and the parents was that it was a competing program that was disconnected from the school. So it was not completely integrated, and that was one reason why the students were actually moving out from the regular schooling mode. The second problem was one size fits all learning approach, and this was student centric. So these after school programs focused on a few phases, but they still resorted to standardized approach. So you had big groups of students in a classroom, all the students getting the same set of practice questions, maybe segregating them in batches of rankers and average performers. That was the kind of personalization they were offering, but mostly it was restricted to group teaching, followed by similar set of assignments, similar set of practice questions, everybody going through the same rigor. Those who were able to compete, those who were able to adapt to it were able to compete. The others were left far behind in the whole race. There was no focus on the individual student. And the third was the unregulated learning environment, raising safety and security concerns. For a lot of parents, Hyderabad is a hub. I come from a place where a lot of students from my state actually move to Hyderabad to prepare for these examinations, leaving homes at a tender age of 15, 16 just to prepare for these examinations. So this was a problem where parents were forced to send their children, they are forced to send their children to centers which are not actually regulated, right, in terms of safety and security. While school provides that kind of environment that helps the child bloom in the best manner that they can. So moving out of that system is a big challenge from the parents' perspective. What is needed probably is a complementing solution, a solution that aligns with what the school is doing and bridges what the school intends to do or whatever the school is currently not doing. So a complementing solution would work. Focus on individual students with the kind of technology that has come in, with the power of AI and the kind of solutions that QNI itself has worked on. Focusing on individual student is pretty much easy now, and we are going to talk about how we are focusing on individual students even in a group class setting. And third is the whole program, the whole idea of QNI is to integrate with schools. So whatever solutions that we come up with, it works in tandem with the school. Either we come in the school, teach in the school along with the teachers, or our teachers teach online, but we coordinate and we align with your academic calendar. So any solution that comes up with QNI focuses the school as the distribution center. So school becomes the focal point for us. The teachers at school become the focal point for us to actually take the learning to the children. So we work completely in tandem with the school, and hence we are offering that kind of safe and sanitized environment as well. So these are the challenges from the perspective of different stakeholders, and these are the solutions that we intend to solve for. Now, Q&I, as I said, is what we began with was developing a personalized learning environment for the child. So that was the core of Q&I solution. But when we were devising this complete solution of personalizing the learning at a individual student level, and when we were working and seeing how we could collaborate with the schools, we figured out that the best way to integrate, or the best way to take the learnings, or the best way to take the platform and the personalization would be doing it in sync with the school. So on an overall level, on a very macro level, the hero of any offering that comes with Q&I is the personalized, adaptive, technology-driven platform, but it is implemented through the school. How it is implemented through the school? On a very macro level, since we have limitations of time for now, we will come and talk to you in detail about how we implement it when we visit the school. But on a broader sense, how we bring about that personalization in the class setting at school is, any child that comes into the Q&I fold, into the Q&I program, we begin with a diagnostic test. It's a proficiency diagnostic test on the subjects that they are going to take up. So since we are offering the courses starting from grades 8 to 12, for grades 8, 9, and 10, the proficiency diagnostic test is taken for subjects of math, science, and social science that we offer. And for 11th and 12th, we focus on the competitive examination preparations. So we focus on maths, science. So it's maths, physics, chemistry, and biology, whatever the child opts for. So when they come into the fold, we begin with a diagnostic test where we are able to understand their gaps, understand where their current learning levels are, and accordingly calibrate the subsequent learning to their individual level. So post the diagnostic test, understanding where the child currently is, adaptive engine is set to begin the learning process for the child. So every child in the class, though they will be studying the same chapter, the same topic, they are going to get different sets of questions basis their understanding level. And when we are talking about understanding level, it is not just limited to somebody answering a question right or wrong. When we are talking about learning, we focus on building their learning skills. And from the learning skills, we actually mean that every question that we have in the Q&I platform, the way the content is structured, we are able to assess and we are able to draw insights on the child's foundational learning skills, which include their application learning skills, their knowledge, their evaluation skills, their comprehension skills. So all questions in the system are tagged to derive insights in that manner. So when the child begins the adaptive learning on Q&I's platform,